Hi everyone and welcome back to Domenic Ruviews. In today's video, we are going to be talking about episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12, The World's Worst. In today's episode, the queens had to participate in a comedy improv acting challenge where they had to be the worst possible performers that they could probably be, which for this cast is probably going to be really tough because they're actually full of talent. And then the theme for the runway today was buttons and bows. As you can probably tell by my outfit, I am dressed up for today's challenge because I actually thought that I could somewhat do this one, unlike last week with tulle, because I do not own any tulle whatsoever. But buttons and bows, I actually got quite a few bow ties and button-up shirts because that's usually what I wear in my everyday life. So today I wanted to give you some college professor realness and wear this outfit and review some fashion today. So since we have finally met all of the queens and they're all in one episode at a time now instead of separated into two separate groups, we are going to be talking about each queen individually in today's episode. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at their runway looks, and I'm going to talk about how they did specifically in their challenge themselves while also looking at their look. So basically just going queen by queen and talking about how I think they did in this episode. So let us open up this here laptop and let's take a look at some of the queens. The first queen that we'll be talking about is the first queen that was out on the runway, Jada Essence Hall, our winner of last week's episode. Now, Jada's look on the runway today, I actually kind of like it. I think it's super cute on her. I love the bows down the arms. I think that's super cute and adorable. This is basically like, you know, if Barbie and Polly Pocket had a kid. I think it's really cute. She looks like a life-size doll, which is the direction that a lot of people took this challenge in, as buttons and bows, and I think it's a really smart direction to go in. And I think it's a really cute look. I think it is, I will say, a little cookie cutter of what I expected from like a buttons and bows challenge for a runway look, but it does look good. It doesn't look bad at all whatsoever, and I think it looks great on her. As for Miss Jada in the challenge, I think that her bad apple was, you know, pretty solid. I think that she definitely deserved to be safe in today's episode. I don't think she did anything that was awful that would have put her in the bottom or in, you know, worry of being eliminated. But I don't think either that she was, you know, tippity-top, really did an amazing job. I think she definitely deserved safe this episode. It was good. It was a good week for Jada. Nothing really to be concerned about here. I also just wanted to say, something that I want to start doing is I want to start saying what exactly my idea of an outfit would be if I were to somehow create something, which I'm not able to do because I don't know how to sew. But if I were able to create something, what kind of thing or outfit would I wear down the runway if I were in the theme? And for buttons and bows, I really love the whole like conceptual art kind of thing and drawing inspiration from a lot of different sources from movies and media and things that I love. So I probably would have done something very Coraline-esque where I would have worn something similar to what she wears in the movie. Definitely the button eyes had like a very creepy kind of outline sort of thing. And I really love that sort of, you know, creepy aesthetic. And I think that's why I like Aiden Zane so much, is because I, you know, just really relate to that. Let's move on and talk about Miss Dahlia Sin. Now, Dahlia Sin on the runway today, she took some back steps from what she did in the last episode. In the last episode, sung praises about Dahlia Sin, that she could do no wrong on the runway, that she was amazing and great. But this week, I just didn't see it. The judges were talking about that they loved this outfit, and for a while, it really took me a little bit when she walked out to really acknowledge what I liked about it. It took me a little bit. I did eventually start liking it, but I'm not loving it. It is a little meh. I didn't understand the whole bunny thing until she started like moving the ears around. I don't know, it just looks unfinished. And I do agree with Michelle that I wish we could have seen more of the hair, because once she took it off during the lip sync, I really think that it looked good. And I wish that she would have, you know, I don't know. It was not my favorite look, unfortunately. It did look unfinished, and it didn't fully give me what I was expecting from the bar that Dahlia set so high last week. In terms of her in the challenge, she did not really do that well. She was trying to be a sexy piece of broccoli, and I don't recall that ever going well for someone. But I mean, she could have taken it in a direction where she could have made the sexy broccoli funny. Like if you were just a piece of broccoli trying to be so overly sexy or so funny or trying to do puns like Rock'em Sakura did, I think that she could have made it really successful. But she just seems so in her head with the idea of being attractive, which she already is. So you don't have to try to exude or push that. I think that it would have been far more successful. I do agree with her placement in the bottom this episode. I definitely think that she should have been lip syncing. She definitely was not at her best, and it was really sad for me to see Dahlia fall so far in this episode. Next up, we have Rock'em Sakura. Now, I love this look. As I've stated multiple times, I love a concept, and the Alice in Wonderland theme totally got it the second I saw her. I absolutely am in love with the hair. I love a good, like, Rapunzel, really, really long hair, and I was living for the blue color, the bows, the plaid, everything. I love this just in general. There's really nothing more that I can express on how much I really am in love with this look, and I think it was a great idea to go down this route. Looks super cute, her makeup's great. I think her makeup's great every week, and I hope they really don't clock her for that eventually, but I know that they will. But I love it personally. Rock'em is most definitely one of my favorite queens on the season. Like, every time I see her do anything, I just get so super duper excited to see what she's gonna bring to it, because I know she has so many creative ideas flowing through her, and this runway look completely embodied that for me. Now, Rock'em Sakura in the challenge, I thought that she did really well with a role that she was uncomfortable with. I think she went into it with an idea that, you know, it wasn't exactly what she wanted, but she really made it work for her. She did a bunch of comedic things, she did a bunch of puns, and I thought that really worked out for her. She did the best that she could do with the role that she was given that she wasn't 100% on, and she really made it her own and stepped into something, which you don't see a lot on this. Usually when you see a queen talking about how uncomfortable she is with something, you usually see them struggle a bit. But I didn't see her struggle much in the challenge. I felt she was one of the stronger ones of her group, and I was really happy to see her pull through. Our next queen we're going to talk about is Jan. Simply Jan. Now, I am 100% on board with the idea of a voodoo doll look. Like I said, I think Coraline definitely would have been a heavy inspiration for me for the runway this week, and this really was something that I resonated with. The second she stepped out, I loved the mask, and then when she pulled it off and kind of had like this beautiful, creepy look underneath, I was totally in love with this. I love the fabric that it's made out of. I love the heart. I love the details and the stitching. I overall think a voodoo doll was a really great idea to go with for this week's runway look challenge. Jan looked really great, and I love how she steps outside of the box a little bit with everything that she's done so far. Granted, it's only been 2 episodes, but last week with her tool, how she did things different than other people did it, and this week how she did different things than other people would have did it. I love where she draws her ideas from, and I really think that's one of the reasons that I love Jan. In terms of the challenge, she was in the Fruity Patooties, and I think that she was going into it confident that she would be able to play her role well, and I definitely think that she succeeded in that. She didn't stand out as really hilarious, but she definitely by no means failed this week's challenge. I think that she did deserve to be safe. I would also agree with how I said earlier with Jada. I would say the same for Jan. I would say she didn't fail, but she also wasn't tippity top for me. So overall, really good week for Jan as well. As you know, I am in love with her wholeheartedly and entirely. So I think this was a good week. I think she's a super strong queen, and I look forward to see what she does next week. Heidi N Closet! Oh my god, talk about a queen that I have completely fallen head over heels for. I love everything about Heidi N Closet. Every confessional she has, every time she opens her mouth, every time she does something, she is just the queen of the season for me right now. That is really making me feel good. Every time she comes on screen, I'm excited to see what she does, what she says, how she'll handle things. I am in love with her. This runway look is so fun. It's so cute. As someone who did Pinocchio back in middle school as a musical, I love this. I immediately got it when she stepped out. I think it's so cute. And then when she lifted up the skirt and there were buttons in the back, I think that it was really, really good. It suited the theme, and it was so her. It was funny yet adorable at the same time. For the improv challenge, I think Heidi should have won this week, and y'all can fight me on it, but I think that Heidi was the winner to me. She was hilarious in her group. Everything that she did, I think she was super invested, and she was really good at her improv, which is really important when you're doing improv to, like they were saying, say yes and really just create a lot of things on your own that can work with your group and your environment around you that are just really funny and give your teammates a lot to work with. And I think Heidi did a great job at that, and she was definitely top winner this week for me. She was incredible. Really top week for Heidi N Closet. Gigi Good. Oh, Miss Gigi Good. Every time Gigi Good steps out on the runway, it is something amazing. It is something that makes me regret ever having doubts about her. I really am eating every single bad word I ever said about Gigi Good during the promo weeks. I love this. I love this look. I hate the color orange. I absolutely despise the color orange. I have nothing in my closet that is the color orange, my Heidi N closet, that is the color orange. Yet I am in love with this look because it's Gigi Good. I think it's great. I mean, it is, if it wasn't made entirely out of buttons, I would say it is very simple, but it looks so good on her. It really, really does. It's so amazing. And when she was saying how heavy the look was, I really wanted to know, how heavy are we talking here? Like, how heavy is this? I don't know why that's what made me curious. When she said it was heavy, I was like, how heavy is this? I kind of want to wear it to see how heavy it is. But overall, for something that I usually would absolutely hate because it's orange, you wouldn't believe how much I hated the Orange Alert Challenge runway look in season 11. I loved this. I think it was fantastic and it looked really, really good on her. In terms of the challenge, she played a dead body the best she possibly could. She was a great corpse. She was super funny the second she died and they had to like lug her around. And then when she woke up at the end, I think it was really, really funny. She definitely deserved to be safe this week. I don't think she did anything that really, tickled my funny bone the most like Heidi did, but she was really good. She definitely had a good week this week, and Gigi Good, I am watching everything that you do. Every time you turn that corner on that runway, I am watching, eyes glued to the TV, because I want to know what you are wearing and what you are doing. Jackie Cox. Now, Jackie Cox, this look is High School Musical to me. Not the musical, like actually one of my High School Musicals, something that the costume department would have made for me within an hour. I think it's cute and it works for her. It's kind of really adorable, but it does really look like a costume that someone would wear for a high school production of The Music Man. When she stepped out and Rue said, "Oh, there's trouble in River City," I started laughing so hard because it's exactly what it looks like to me. I don't know, it's something about the colors of yellow and pink. It's just really gaudy and not that, I don't even know how to describe it. I just don't like it for some reason. I really want to because it's Jackie Cox and it's so funny and it suits her, but I don't like the colors. I don't like it. It's just so, I think the gaudy is the best way to describe it. I'm not a fan of this look. For the challenge, I would say Jackie was very successful. She had to, handle Gigi's corpse the entire time, and she did a really good job handling that. She was completely funny on her own. I think she's great at improv, and she did really well in the challenge this week. If it was not for this outfit, I would have said Jackie definitely deserved to be in the top this week. But because of the outfit, I think that she definitely deserved to get high remarks, but not be the winner. But don't let that fool you. I'm still very excited to see everything that Jackie Cox does because I think she's funny and super interesting, and I'm really excited to see her continue. Widow Von Du. Now, the winner of the first episode of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race sure looks good here. Widow Von Du is blowing my mind with how good she is. I was fully not expecting to love her as much as I do. I think this is great. I think it's really, really funny. I think whenever a queen comes out in clown clothes, I think it looks great. I think it looks really good. It suits her. She's really funny. It's fashion, I'm sorry. For those of you who've been watching the Pit Stop with Bob the Drag Queen for this season, when Peppermint in the second episode was like, it's fashion, it's fashion, it's fashion, I was dying, and I don't know why when I said it's fashion just reminded me of that moment. But overall, love this look for Widow. I think it's super cute and colorful and clowny, and it's great. For Widow in the challenge, I think she was the strongest out of her group. I think she did have the weakest group out of all four of them, and I think that she really pulled it for herself in being the one that I was watching the entire time. No one else in her group I was really paying attention to, which kind of sucks to say, but it's so true that Widow was really the best one and the only one that I wanted to pay attention to because she was really just owning the scene for me. Crystal Method. Now, I love me some Crystal Method, but today, I was ready to give that train up completely. I am not a fan of this look at all whatsoever, and I honestly can say it is the least favorite look for me on the runway. I do not agree with anything they are saying about her makeup. I think that she should keep her makeup exactly the way it is. It suits her. It's really, really good. I mean, maybe if she went for a softer look every now and then, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I don't think that she deserved the, her makeup is getting tiresome and boring and repetitive, and I don't agree with any of that. I think she looks fantastic the way she is. In terms of the outfit, I really don't like it. It just looks like a bag. It looks like a pink bag that she put some bows on, and I'm really not a fan of it. I am not lying when I say that this is my top boot for the week. It is not my favorite outfit at all whatsoever. And Crystal, I'm so sorry to say that because I love you so much, but I want to see what you're going to come out with next week. In terms of the challenge, Crystal really struggled this week, and it was kind of sad to see her struggle because I really thought that she could be funny, and I definitely think that she can. I do think that she got in her head a little bit during this week's challenge, and I think that she was one of the weaker ones in terms of all the queens this episode, and she didn't stand out to me at all. Really, nothing she was doing was really funny or anything. She just was kind of there, and it's so sad to say that this wasn't a great week for Crystal because I do love her so much. But I'm really glad that she stayed through this episode. She wasn't in the bottom, and we get to see more from her next week. Nikki Doll. Now Miss Nikki Doll, the Parisian doll of beauty herself. I love this look again, and again. I love a concept, and the whole Cinderella thing, how she literally has a dead mouse strapped to her chest. I liked it. I liked that it's kind of an unfinished product that, kind of similar to Dahlia's, but it works better in this case because it kind of has an idea and a concept behind it of the mouse is finishing the dress. It's very Cinderella. I loved the button hair, very Miss Cracker season 10 when she did the hat hair in the Hats Incredible challenge. She literally has a measuring tape bra strap. I like this look. I think it was a really good look. It was a really great concept, and it really worked for this challenge. And when she stepped out and Rue said, "Guess who's back with a mouse," I was also dying. There were some really good comments on this runway today. For the challenge, I definitely agree that she completely faded into the background. I think she could have done so much more. I think Nikki has gotten in her head since she's been here, and it's really unfortunate to see because I think she is such a strong queen. She has so many amazing things to offer, and if she would have just come at this sexy character with a better idea and a concept too, then her original idea of thinking like, oh, sexy, it's expected, they're gonna see this from me, and like, oh, it's not anything new. I think she could have turned it into something new. I think in the pit stop episode this week when Bob was saying if she would have came out and done like some French, or we couldn't understand her but she's still so sexy you can't help but look at her, I think that was a really good idea. And I think if she would have done something like that, kind of similar to Dahlia and her challenge as well, have taken this character and made it funny with the sexiness, then it would have been far more successful. Do I think Nikki should have been in the bottom? No. I think Crystal should have been in the bottom over Nikki this week, and it is not me being biased towards Nikki Doll, but I do think that if Crystal was not to be in the bottom, Nikki, yes, should have been in the bottom. So I do agree with the final two that were picked for the lip sync in the end. I just think that Nikki Doll's look on the runway edged out Crystal's just a smidge. I think that her runway look was a little bit better. Aiden Zane. Now, this episode made me realize a few things. That everyone is apparently on board this Aiden Zane hate train. It really kind of made me mad during this episode how Britta and They Who Shall Not Be Named immediately came after Aiden Zane. And it kind of really frustrated me because I think that Aiden does have a lot to offer, and it made me really mad seeing them kind of just doubt her almost immediately, and in the end just again saying like, this is your fault and you didn't lead us and blah blah blah. I agree with some things they were saying, that Aiden could have stepped it up a little bit more, but in the end I think that they kind of had an idea about Aiden from the get-go, and their minds were made up the second they were put on a team with her, which I think is extremely unfair to Aiden. For this runway look, I know everybody's calling it bland and simple and blah blah blah, and yeah, but I think for what it is and her simplistic idea of a buttons and bows runway look, I think it's cute. I think it's good. Yes, it is not the most amazing or innovative thing to come down the runway, and I do think that for season 12, you do need to step it up a little bit. I do think there does need to be more to the look, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I do not think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I think it's still cute, you know, for what it is. She obviously had an idea behind it. She wouldn't just come onto the runway with a sweatshirt if she didn't. I think it was really cute for what it is. And I really just like Aiden Zhane as a whole. And I think that she is one of those underdogs that people are sleeping on, which I don't really appreciate. People, you know, just doubting her immediately. I would like to see a different wig from you, Miss Aiden Zhane, though. Please, I know you have more than one wig. So please, next week, when you're walking down the runway, have a different wig. That is all. In the challenge, I think that she had a good idea in the beginning of saying, like, we're supposed to be really bad, so why don't we, you know, kind of have one person who's, like, lacking behind, who can't really speak at the same time, and they immediately shut her down, and were like, that's a terrible idea, you're bad at improv, shut up. And it just made me so mad. And it kind of, in the end result, made Aiden fade into the background even more. And she definitely, I think, deserved to be safe this week. I didn't think she was awful, and that is my wholehearted, honest opinion. Not just because I really like Aiden Zhane saying that. I'm saying that legitimately, honestly, I don't think she was the worst this week, and I don't think she deserved to be in the bottom. Britta! Is Britta, when she came down the runway saying she was a Polly Pocket, that's exactly what she looks like. A kind of very similar to Jada's look. It was very Barbie, you know, cookie cutter idea of buttons and bows, but I still think it's adorable. I love how the dress alternates from, like, bows to buttons at the bottom of it. I think the shoes are really cute. She's just, like, the cutest little doll walking down this runway. I think in terms of the challenge, she really stood out at the end when she was walking out. But other than that, I think their group really... It wasn't my favorite. It really was not something that was incredibly funny. The judges were saying how hilarious it was when they were so slowly talking through their speech and their lines, but I wasn't getting it. I didn't really think it was that funny or hilarious, so I didn't really think it was that great. But overall, I like this runway look for Britta. I don't think Britta was unsuccessful in the challenge. I just don't think it was absolutely as funny as the judges thought it was. So, in the end, it is revealed that Sherry Pie is the winner of this week's challenge, even though I still believe Miss Heidi and Closet should have been the winner, but I digress. The bottom two who are lip-syncing this week is revealed to be Dahlia Sin versus Nikki Doll. Now, I've seen all the comments and I've seen the videos of people saying this lip-sync is boring and it should have been a double sachet. Do I agree? Yes, wholeheartedly, this lip sync was boring. This was so bad compared to the last 2 weeks' lip syncs, which were a lot better and just so much full of energy. When you get a song like Problem by Ariana Grande, maybe it's just because I'm an Ariana Grande stan, I'm expecting so much from you. I'm expecting so much energy, and I did not get that from either of them, and it made me mad. It's one of those lip syncs that I was just watching, waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for somebody to do like an amazing reveal, or waiting to do like a trick or something or anything, or just something that's different from walking around and pointing the entire time. But I didn't get that. In terms of who I think did better, I do think Nikki Doll edged out Dahlia just a smidge. A smidgen. Just a smidgen. Because she, A, knew the words, and B, I don't know, what she was doing was a little bit more interesting to me, and I mean, it wasn't much. What she was doing was not much. Let me make that clear. As much as I love Nikki Doll, let's just be honest here. She was not doing a lot, neither was Dahlia Sin, but every time Nikki did something, I guess I was a little bit more interested in looking than I was at Dahlia. So, I don't know, it really was not that great of a lip sync, and I was heavily disappointed. But in the end, Miss Dahlia gets sent home over Nikki Doll. Do I think the right person went home today? Yes. Bare minimum, Nikki Doll knew the words. But then, a gag. Dahlia, when she walked out, just walked straight out the door. No comment, no nothing. basically me walking out on 2020 this year because everything has just been terrible. I mean, I'm sure they edited it to look heavily shadier than it actually was, and if you watched Untucked, you would see Dahlia saying like, oh, I do regret it and everything, and I see that. You know, you felt how you felt in the moment. What happened, and, you know, look at it with regret because you didn't want to, like, disrespect anybody or disrespect your sisters, which, you know, I understand her. I'm not mad at Dahlia. I'm not going to send hate to her. I think that, you know, what happened. You know, she was mad. Being the first one out is never easy, especially after a lip sync like that. That was something. But with that comes the end of episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12 and the end of this review. In next week's episode, we are throwing a fashion ball. So all the look queens like Gigi Good and Miss Nikki Doll are going to be having some really good looks that I'm really excited to see. I'm also really excited to see what Rock'em Sakura and Jan come up with because I know there are people that step outside of the box and I'm always excited to see what they're wearing. So a fashion ball is a perfect challenge that I am ready to look forward to and to see what these queens have got of their arsenal. But thank you guys so very much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, make sure you go down below and hit that like button and a subscribe if you want to see more content of mine and want to follow along with me with this season. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!